Hello there, my little lovelies. So today we are finally finishing up this skirt. It took me like an entire week, but I am finally done. Actually, it took kind of longer than a week because I do have another video after this where I add finishing touches and make final adjustments. But anyways, it's gonna be mostly done. I can finally try it on the full dress today. So yeah. Oh, the lighting is acting weirdly. Oh well. But yeah, before I actually stitch the sides of the dress together and I stitch the dress to the bodice, I am going to add some pockets. Because I have not added pockets to any of my dresses before, and that is a crime that must be recidified. So I am going to add pockets to this dress. So yeah. The way you add pockets is, well, you just kind of cut out the pocket shape. It's been described as like kind of like a kidney shape. It's kind of like a glove shape-ish. It's just like a little sack. And I just traced it around my phone so that way I can ensure that it fits in, like my phone can fit inside. I pinned it together before I cut it out to see if I can like actually shove my phone and hand inside the hole, because I was worried that the hole wasn't going to be big enough and I didn't want to make the hole too big in case my phone starts falling out. Because I do know that a hoodie of mine, the hole is, I don't know if it's like because the hole is big or if the pocket isn't deep enough or if the fabric is just that soft, but like my phone keeps on falling out of it whenever I put it inside the pocket, so now I just don't trust that hoodie's pockets anymore. Anyways, I did a zigzag stitch around the edges of the fabric so that way it won't fray. But then I'm going to do another zigzag stitch afterwards, so you don't really have to do this zigzag stitch. Anyways, the way you attach the pockets to the skirt is that you attach the pocket to one skirt side, right sides together. Well, for the pocket piece, it doesn't really matter, but you're supposed to attach it to like the right side of the skirt, and then you stitch a line along the pocket opening area. That way you can attach the pocket to the skirt. And then I like to do like a zigzag stitch afterwards. I forgot to do it here for the first pocket because I was dumb, but I like to do a zigzag stitch afterwards to keep the two sides together and kind of intact, because it's kind of hard to do the zigzag stitch on the pocket sides after you actually stitch the two sides of the dress together. So anyways, I also like ironing it at that step when I just have like the pockets aren't actually fully attached to each other yet, but it's just attached to the dress. I like ironing it in that step because I find that's easier to kind of iron, or maybe it's just because like for this dress it's just so big and ruffled. But yeah, I like to iron it during that step. But once again, it's my first pocket, my first ever pocket in my entire life, so I forgot. But from what I did with the second pocket, that's kind of what I prefer. Right now, I believe I am stitching the skirt sides together. When you're stitching the skirt seams together, make sure you don't stitch where the pocket opening is supposed to be. Leave like a centimeter gap around that area on like each side of it, kind of, because like you shouldn't stitch any of the pocket fabric. I made the mistake on both pockets of doing that, so I had to seam rep it a bit, because it's hard to turn inside out if you stitch any part of the pocket fabric itself. And besides, after you turn it inside out, you can like stitch more along it, so it won't be all open and stuff. But yeah, and then afterwards I like to do a zigzag stitch once more before cutting off all the excess fabric. That way I can make sure the two sides are together. If the seam ever does kind of like fall apart, the zigzag stitch is still there to kind of hold it together, sorta. So like, it won't completely fall apart if the very first thread stitch area does kind of snap. But yeah. didn't really cut out the pocket pieces very nicely. They weren't like the pocket the square pocket area wasn't long enough. So I have to keep that in mind next time. Because it was pretty hard to kind of like stitch on. So yeah. I am also doing a little bit of hand stitching here, I believe. I cannot remember why. But sure. Also, sorry if my outfit looks a little bit uncoordinated. It was laundry day, so I didn't really have much to wear. So yeah. I'd say it still looks pretty cohesive-ish, mostly. Right, and after this skirt, I should definitely finish that Hanfu shirt that I've been putting off since, like, exams. And I also have to finish altering the shirt for my friend, because the stuff I ordered for her online is coming soon, so I'm hoping that I can give the shirt to her when she comes to pick up the stuff that she ordered online. And I also have to make a new mask. And I also have to like work on that basket, right? Initially, I was supposed to work on the basket, if you guys remember from day one, but then I kind of gave up on the basket. So I have to work on the basket later. Oh yeah, here I am attaching the side pieces of the pockets together after I flipped it outside from from in between the dresses. Yeah. I also need to like make a cute little blanket kind of situation for the basket. I'm thinking of using this fabric, but like I'm worried that it would look it would like blend into each other too much, the dress and the basket, and I don't want that to happen. But then I don't know what other fabric I could use, because I'm looking at my fabric stash right now. I have like a light lilac lavender kind of fabric. I have barely any white cotton fabric. I do have like a kind of see-through lining fabric that I could use, hypothetically. But then I would want to like embroider something on it, because otherwise it looks too plain. I do have a very sparkly silver fabric and some leftover pink satin from my prom dress that I definitely need to use. I was like meaning to make a ballerina skirt with that. Like that ballerina wrap skirt. Because I saw a few in store, tried it on, I absolutely loved it. Except it was like $30. Skirts are expensive. Which is weird because they're like some of the simplest things to make. Anyways, I am right now cutting off the excess fabric, I believe. Or maybe I'm just cutting off some extra loose threads. And yeah, I found the fabric shears that I lost the other day. It was hidden underneath a pile of fabric. Well, not really a pile, it was literally just one layer of fabric. I don't know how I lost it, but I apparently did lose it somehow. And now I'm just going upstairs to iron things out, to iron out the sides of the pocket to make it look nice, because I didn't do it earlier, even though I should have done it earlier. Because it was a pain to like get the skirt to like lay out of the way and to like not drag everywhere as I was trying to iron it. But yeah, I am back and I am going to attach the pockets to the other side. I was pretty careful with attaching the pockets to the other side because, well, I wanted to make sure that I attached it to the right size and I didn't accidentally do it wrong.
that was like a fear of mine during this entire project, because if I attached anything wrong, it would have been a whole nightmare to tear it apart and redo the entire thing. But yeah. So I am right now, I'm pretty sure I'm right now just attaching the pockets to each other. Not to each other. I'm right now doing like the zigzag stitch along the pockets, and then I'm going to attach the pockets to the skirt. And the video lighting went weird again. Great. I should probably get a new phone. The one I'm using is pretty broken. But then again, I have like all of my pictures and game data all on this phone, and I know that all my game data is stored within like accounts, so I can like access it through other devices, but like I like this phone. It had a good camera, and it has big storage, and it has a very decent selfie mode. So yeah, that is me sewing more and more. I'm attaching the pockets to the dress, and now I'm pretty sure I'm attaching the dress to itself, so I can attach the seams together. This really is a bad angle. I have to find a new angle for my camera. So that way you guys can actually kind of see what I'm trying to do, instead of having me block the way. And also so I can see what I'm trying to do. Oh yeah, here I am going upstairs and ironing it out beforehand because I learned from my mistake. Kind of. So yeah. The pockets are pretty big. I think I made them a bit too big. I mean, then again, there's nothing such as pockets that are too big. It's just like a bit big for my phone. I do have to make the opening a bit bigger next time, because it is kind of a struggle to put my hand in. Not too much of a struggle, but enough of a struggle that I can't really slip it in immediately. I'll have to like wiggle it around for like a second or so. But for my first pocket, I'd say it looks pretty nice. I like it. Perhaps one day I'll make a pocket that's like a zipped up one. Or maybe I'll just make a slit in the side in the future. And then have like one of those, was it 18th century? Not sure which century it is, but like I do know that in the historical days, women would have like these gigantic pockets. It's like, because like they wear corsets. The corset helps them hold up the pockets so they can put a bunch of stuff in it. So they would like just tie this waistband around their waist with these big pockets on the side, put on their other stuff, hoop skirts, petticoats, outer skirts, but there's always like a slit in the side so they can reach into their pockets. And like all of the layers kind of hide whatever is in the pocket. And since the pocket is on the inside, it doesn't really weigh down any of the layers. Because I do have a petticoat. I have already worn the skirt with the petticoat. It looks gorgeous. It looks amazing. All my friends like it better with the petticoat rather than just by itself. But that's beside the point. But like whenever I have the phone inside the pocket, when I have the petticoat on, it looks very heavy on one side. You can very obviously see that something is weighing it down, because my phone, it's not really tugging the skirt down, because when I don't have the petticoat on, you can't really tell. But if I have the petticoat on, the phone itself is pushing against the petticoat, because the petticoat and the outer skirt layer sandwiches the phone. So yeah, I should probably I don't want to make a new petticoat though, because the one that I made, it took me a very long time. Not as long as this dress. It only took me like 3 days to make the petticoat. but like technically also a week because I procrastinated like the first few days because I did not want to work with a whole kilometer worth of tulle. I did not want to ruffle a whole kilometer worth of tulle. I should have made a video about me making the petticoat because there was a lot of things that I realized about making a petticoat that I feel like all of my friends, because a few of my friends, they're thinking of also making a petticoat. Honestly, I would not really suggest it as like a first beginner project because it's like it was a pain to make. I'll just say that. Like the tulle was all scratchy and it just kept on getting in the way, and like there was so much fabric, it was a nightmare. But the good thing is tulle doesn't fray, so then again they don't have to worry about like serging the edges or sealing the edges to keep it from fraying. But still, I would not recommend making a petticoat as like a very first beginner project all that much. Just because like all the stress you have to go through. But then again, it's not too hard. So like an intermediate project, like if you've sewn once or twice before and you are willing to sacrifice the softness of your hands, because the tulle is very, very scratchy and rough and very uncomfortable, and if you're willing to sacrifice your sanity, then by all means make a petticoat. It's very, very fun to twirl in. Just, I would not really recommend gathering it all, because it is a pain to gather. I tried gathering it, but then I kind of gave up because there was just too much fabric to gather. So I just regulated to just pinning it in place in a few spots and just shoving it under the sewing foot in a semi-even way. It eventually worked, yeah, but I don't really like making petticoats. But then again, I really want to make a giant petticoat for like a giant ball gown that I want to wear to school one day for like a dance or like a formal or like prom or something. I don't know. I just want to wear a big giant princess ball gown one day. But then I'll probably have to make a hoop skirt, so that way I don't have to spend a bunch of time layering all the tulle. Anyways, here I am attaching the shoulder straps to the bodice, because I did not do that when I was completing the bodice and attaching the sides of the bodice together. I don't know why I didn't do it, because it was very simple. I just did like a zigzag stitch. Well, I should have done a zigzag stitch along the side of the sleeve first before I attached it. But then I forgot to, so I attached the straps to the front bodice piece first, and then I had to do like a zigzag stitch. Careful not to like catch the front bodice itself, because otherwise that's gonna look very ugly. I just did like the stitch during like around that area where I did the hem, so that way it kind of hides itself within like the mass of white thread. So yeah, that is basically what I did. It took me a few tries to get the zigzag stitch to look correct. Well, not to look correct, but just have it close enough to the edge that I was happy with it. Because I am a perfectionist, and that is probably why this dress took this long to make. Because I could have just probably shoved it all together in a singular day if I really wanted to. But then I'm a perfectionist, so I had to like make sure everything was perfect. And I'm really glad that I did. It looks beautiful. I love it. I adore it. So yeah, here I am threading the bobbin, I believe. Or what am I doing? Oh no, I'm doing like some hand stitching. Right, because I'm attaching like the front ruffle, because like, you know how like in the very front, the center bodice front panel piece, that part I attached like a ruffle at the top. It's very cute, but I don't know if it's because it's very heavy and the fabric is very weak,
but it just keeps on flopping forwards. So I attached the sides of that to the straps. So to try and keep it from flopping forwards, it didn't really work out. So I will have to do something about that. I'm thinking of making it into like a sweetheart neckline or something. And like adding some decorations later. I don't know. So yeah, I didn't actually film the part where I attached the skirt to the bodice, but basically what I did was I just gathered the front panel of the skirt and the back panel of the skirt kind of separately, because the front of the bodice was only like 30 centimeters or so at the bottom, but the back panel, it was sheared, so I put like 27 centimeter elastic inside it, so it only looks like it's like 27 centimeters long, but in reality the actual full back panel is like 54 centimeters long. So yeah, I had to like gather the back panel of the skirt a little bit less than the front panel to make it look nice. So that way when the elastic is pulled together tightly, it would look nice and it would still kind of be gathered evenly. I actually kind of messed up on the elastic part because I didn't realize that the very top elastic and the bottom elastic should be different lengths. So yeah, the bodice fits a bit weirdly because of that. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will post the final reveal of the full dress later today. Bye bye!